Good morning, friends. Happy spring. If you didn't know, today is the first day of spring. I have a spring book to read to you today, and then I have a little activity that we're going to do after. The book today is called Spring for Sophie. What do you think Sophie is? Yeah, Sophie's the main character, this little girl. Spring for Sophie by Yale Weber, illustrated by Jen Hill. So Yale Weber, that's the author. What does the author do? Writes the words. And the illustrator is Jen Hill. What's the illustrator do? Draws the pictures. Good job. So does that picture look like spring? No. What would we call this picture? What season are they in? Winter, definitely. They got all the snow. Let's see what happens. When will spring be here? Sophie asked her mom. Spring comes slowly, her mom told her. How will I know that spring is coming? Asked Sophie. The first way to tell if spring is coming is to listen for it. When you hear the birds start to sing their songs to each other, that's when you'll know spring is coming. That's what spring sounds like. So Sophie listened. She listened in the mornings when she played with her sister in the snow, and she listened in the evenings when she helped her dad collect wood for fire. At first, she couldn't hear anything except for how quiet the world was when it was covered in snow. But one day, she walked with her mom to get the mail, and she heard the first chirps. I've been hearing those chirps lately. Every day she heard more and more, first the chickadees, and then the mourning doves and the robins. Soon she could hear all kinds of birds calling to each other, announcing that spring was coming. But outside it was still snowy and cold. How will I know when spring is getting even closer? Sophie asked. You'll have to use your feet, her dad said. When you start to feel the ground get softer and muddy, that's when you'll know spring is getting even closer. That's what spring feels like. So Sophie paid extra attention to her feet. When she walked in the woods with her dad, the ground was still slippery and hard, and she had to hold her dad's hand. When she walked shadow with her mom, everything still felt icy. But then one day, the ground felt softer than before, and the snow was slushier, and pretty soon her boots started sinking into the ground instead of slipping on top. Sophie felt spring getting closer. But it's still not spring, Sophie said, and she sighed when she had to put on her hat and gloves to go outside. How will I know when spring is really here? Well, Sophie, you'll have to use your eyes and nose to tell if spring is here, her mom said. You'll have to watch and wait until you see the snow start to melt. And you will have to wait until the air begins to smell like earth and rain. That's when you'll know spring is here. That's what spring looks and smells like. So Sophie watched. She watched as the ice melted off the lake and as the snow turned to puddles in her yard. She watched as flowers pushed up from under the ground and showed their stems, and she watched as new moss covered the rocks in the woods. she saw the world turn from white. What do you think is the next page? From white, the winter, to green, spring. And then one day, after the snow had melted, Sophie smelled the air. She quickly put on her rain boots and raincoat and ran outside. She looked up into the sky as the rain started to fall. "Sophie, what are you doing?" she heard her dad call. This kind of looks like our day today. Rainy. Sophie stuck out her tongue to catch raindrops. "Now I know spring is here," she called, "because this is what spring tastes like." So we have a nice spring rainy day outside today, and what I want you to do for your activity that goes with this book is we're going to do a Venn diagram. Say Venn diagram. Do you remember what a Venn diagram looks like? Or what you do with a Venn diagram? Tell an adult right now, what do you do or what does it look like? If you're not sure, I'm going to show you right now. So if you told an adult that a Venn diagram is two circles that overlap, you would be correct. This is what a Venn diagram looks like. If you were unsure, does this look familiar now? I hope so. We've used this a lot this year. So in your Venn diagram, you are going to compare, because that's what we use a Venn diagram for. We compare two different things. How this one is different from this one, and then what goes in the middle. How they're the same, right? What they both have. Okay, so you are going to compare the seasons, winter and spring. And then in the middle, you're going to talk about what they both have. So we're going to talk about what winter has, what spring has, and then what they both have. So I want you to either on a whiteboard or a chalkboard, or if you have a piece of paper, anything you can write on, I want you to make a Venn diagram. I want you to label the top of the circles, just like I did. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to do one example right now with you, and then I want you to do one more by yourself. So I'm going to think about winter. Winter, what happens in the winter? In the winter, it gets really, really snowy. So I'm going to put snowy for my winter. In the spring, it usually gets rainy. And then both of them, both winter and spring are called seasons. Yeah, so I'm going to put both, and I'm going to write seasons because they are both seasons. So now I want you to add one more thing to winter, one more thing to spring, and one more thing to what they both are. Think about the holidays that happen in those seasons. Think about the temperature in those seasons. Think about what you might do outside in those seasons. Think about maybe what your favorite one is, or if you like both, you could put that they're both fun. So think about all the different things that happen in these two seasons. What happens in the winter, what happens in the spring, and then what they both have in common. I can't wait to see. Send me pictures if you can, or maybe write me a little sentence that your parents can email me. I can't wait to see. I hope you have a great first day of spring. I'm so proud of you all. You're doing such amazing work, and I love seeing all the pictures and videos that you're sending me. Thank you so much. Keep working hard, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.